and Then There Were None by Angie Thomas. No. Accidentally Your Age? No. By Carrie Fisher? No. Yay! So happy. They're upside down. It's a 20-sided. Oh, come on. This is gonna be so fun to edit. Hey fellow fiction fanatics, I'm Chase. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my 5th round of Dice Determine my TBR. It's also the 1-year anniversary of me doing my TBR game, so I do have a few surprises in store. So first I'm going to go over the books I was able to read to complete my summer TBR. Then I'm going to show you the board and go over the new rules, and then we'll get into the rolls. And do stay till the end because that's when I'll be telling you my TBRs for Becca's Bookoplathon and G's Magical Readathon. But if you want to jump ahead, I will link timestamps down below. Alright, let's get into it. To read a book featuring 5 or more words in the title, I read the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. To read a book featuring a bookish main character, I read The Bookshop on the Corner by Jenny Colgan. To read a book featuring my initials in the title, I read Palace of Mirrors by Margaret Peterson Haddix. To read a buddy read, I read Cress by Marissa Meyer, and I read this with my sister Brooklyn. To read a book that's been gifted to me, I read Before the Dawn by E.C. Myers, which is the 2nd book in the Ruby series. To read a seasonal read, I read My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. To read a book with no hype, I read Ash by Melinda Lowe. To read a book with 4 words in the title, I read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. To reread a book, I read Anna Burning by Shannon Hale. This is the 2nd book in the Books of Bayern, and I'm very happy that I was able to continue on with this series. The universe chose a book for me to read, and I read There's Something About Sweetie. I loved that one, and I'm very glad that I was able to read it. To read a book featuring representation, I read El Defo, which had deaf representation. For Flip a Coin, I was supposed to read The Loose Ends List by Carrie Firestone. I decided to DNF that book, which means did not finish. So instead, I decided between Curtsies and Conspiracies by Gail Carriger or Playing with Fire, which is the 2nd book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series by Derek Landy, and Playing with Fire 1. So those are all the books that I was able to read for my summer TBR. Alright, on to the rules. So firstly, I want to say that I was inspired by 3 booktubers and their amazing TBR games. I watch them every month, and their TBR games are just gorgeous, and they really inspired me to up my game. And that would have to be Caitlin E. from The Lit Review with her TBR game Litland, Dasha and her channel Mythic Pages, and her game is A Game of Tomes. And finally, G from Book Roast and her TBR avatar. So they inspired me to make these brand new cards, and I love them. So it says My TBR Game and has a 20-sided die in the background. I think they're so cute. I'm so glad that I have these now in my game. So what I do is I roll some dice to determine which column and row I'll be choosing from. Where those 2 intersect is the prompt I will be picking. I choose 12 prompts and have 3 months to complete them. If I'm unable to complete a prompt, then the books that I wasn't able to complete roll over into next month, and I will also have to add a black dot prompt to the board. These are prompts that are more challenging or just ones that I don't really want to do, and they have to stay on the board until I complete them. So I don't want these. However, if I am able to complete all my challenges, then I get to choose any prompt I want, and it will be one of the 36 cards that go on the board. My only stipulation is it can't be a prompt that was part of the last round. I was able to complete all my challenges for my summer TBR, and the card that I chose is New TBR Game, so hopefully we get that one. And finally, if I land on the same space twice, then I will roll a die, most likely an 8-sided die, to determine which adjacent space I will be choosing from. Oh, and I forgot to mention that there will be a hidden black dot prompt somewhere on the board each month. Alright, so those are all the rules. Let's get into the rolls. So I am loving the new cards on the board. So the first thing we're going to do is pick which dice will determine my columns. If it's an odd, it's going to be the black, and if it's an even, it's going to be the brown. Alright, let's roll. That's a 19, so it's an odd. Roll number 1. That's a 1 and a 1. 1, 1. And that is Try a Chapter. Roll number 1 landed us on Try a Chapter. So I'm going to be picking 3 books and reading a chapter from each of them, and deciding which one I'm going to read within the next 3 months. So I'm deciding between Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Santanto, Accidentally Engaged by Faria Heron, and Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. So make sure you do check out my monthly wrap-up to see which of these I'm actually going to read. Roll number 2. That's 3, 2. 3, 2. And that is new TBR game. I'm super excited for this one. Roll number 2 landed us on new TBR game. So for this, I'm going to be rolling a 6-sided die to determine whose TBR game I'm going to be playing. If I roll a 1, it's going to be Cody's Wheel of TBR. If I roll a 2, it's going to be Becca's Bookopoly. If I roll a 3, it's going to be Ocean Reed's Court of Cards. If I roll a 4, it's going to be Gavin's Play Your TBR Right. And if I roll a 5, it's going to be Jade's TBR Pursuit. And if I roll a 6, I get to choose any game I want. Alright, let's roll. And here's the roll to determine which TBR game I have. And that's a 5. So I'm going to be doing Jade's TBR Pursuit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Jade's August TBR Pursuit. She chooses 6 books that she's going to read. So I'm going to roll a dice, and that number will be the prompt that I also have to complete. Alright, let's see what prompt we're going to do. Here we go. Roll number 2. Alright, so I rolled a 2. So let me go watch Jade's August TBR Pursuit. Alright, so her second roll had her land on adult fantasy, and she needed to name a sequel that she needs to read. So that's the same prompt that I'm going to have to complete. However, I don't have any adult fantasy series that I'm currently in the middle of. So instead I'm going to change it to young adult fantasy, and I'm going to pick A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kemmerer. This is the 3rd and final book within the Cursebreaker trilogy. I absolutely love the first one. The second one, I didn't like it at first, but it really grew on me, and I'm excited to see where this book goes and how it all ends. So, I very much need to pick this up, and I'm glad that I have it on my TBR. Roll number 3. 6, 4. 6, 4. And that is Popular on BookTube. Roll number 3 landed me on Popular on BookTube. And this is perfect because I'm still on the waiting list for The House in the Cerulean Sea. So that's the book I'm going to be reading for this prompt. And I'm very excited to be finally reading this book. Roll number 4. 5, 1. 5, 1. And that is Lucky Number. Roll number 4 landed us on Lucky Number. And so I'm going to roll some dice to determine my lucky number. I'm going to go over on Goodreads and randomize my shelf, and then we'll find the book I'm going to read using that lucky number. Alright, let's roll. Now I'm going to roll a 6-sided die and 2 10-sided dice to determine the lucky number book that I will be rolling. And the lucky number is 351. That is the number I will be finding over on Goodreads. Alright, we are over on Goodreads. I'm going to go to my Want to Read page, and now that we're here, I'm going to scroll down 100, and let's change this to random. And then I'm going to find the 351st book. That would be 300, so 4. So now I gotta count to 51. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51. So our lucky number landed us on 5 to 1 by Holly Bodger. I don't really know too much about this, so hopefully I like it. Roll number 5. 5, 6. 5, 6. And that is page count. And roll number 5 landed us on page count. So I'll be going to a random number generator, and then I'll find a book that has that many pages or as close to that many pages as possible. So let's go to our random number generator. I'm going to pick a book between 50 and 850 pages. Alright, let's roll. 355. Okay, that's not too bad. We'll go over to Goodreads here. Let's change it to 1. I'm going to scroll down to do number of pages, and we're going to find a book that's close to 355. Alright, and we have either The Dresden Files, Ruined, Otherworld, and let's go to the next page just to be sure, or A River of Royal Blood. Okay, those all look really good. and they're all series, so I think I'm gonna go with Otherworld. And so from there, I picked Otherworld by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. I really have no idea what this book is about, but I'm kind of excited to go into it blind. Roll number 6. 6, 3. 6, 3. And that is year published. And roll number 6 landed us on year published. The TBR game is really liking random number generators today, so I'll be going over to another random number generator, choosing a year between 1904 and 2021. Whatever year it comes up, then I will try to find a book that is as close to that as possible, and we'll go from there. Alright, let's go to another number generator. Alright, so I'm going to be picking a book between 1904 and 2021. Let's roll. And we got 1938. Let's change this to year published, 1939. Okay, that's as close as we're gonna get. So we got 1938. So the book I'll be choosing that is as close to 1938 as possible is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. I've never read an Agatha Christie book before, but I am excited, and I think fall is a great time to read a mystery thriller. So I definitely want to try to save this one for October. Roll number 7. 6, 2. 6, 2. And that is Throwback Thursday. Roll number 7 landed us on Throwback Thursday, which is where I'm going to be reading a book that I loved when I was a kid. So for that, I'm actually going to choose the Magic Treehouse series. I'm going to read as many of these as possible and see how they stand up. This is just a silly fun one, and we'll see how it goes. But I am looking forward to reading these books once again. Roll number 8. 2, 2. 2, 2. And that is On My Shelf. Roll number 8 landed us on My Shelf, and the book that I'm choosing that is on my shelf is River Secrets by Shannon Hale. This is the 3rd book in the Books of Bayern series, and this one, I don't remember too much of what happens. I know that the power is obviously going to be water, but that's pretty much the only thing I really remember about this, and so I'm excited to reread this and see what I think of it, because I don't remember all that much. Roll number 9. 5, 1. 5, 1. Oh, we've already been there. So usually if I land on the same space twice, I roll an 8-sided die, but because there's only 4 options, I'm going to roll a 4-sided die. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, here we go. And that is a 4. So it's gonna be this one. And that is Author Alliteration. Roll number 9 had us land on Author Alliteration. So I'm going to be reading Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. I love this graphic novel so much. I read it every year, and it's just the perfect fall vibes. If you haven't read this, I highly, highly recommend that you do. It's so sweet, so fun, so cute. I'm so excited to read this once again. Roll number 10. 1, 4. 1, 4. And that is Retelling. Roll number 10 had us land on Retelling, so I'm going to be reading Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is the 4th and final book in the Lunar Chronicles. I just love this book so much, and I can't wait to finish up this series and see how my sister likes it. So this will definitely be a fun one. Roll number 11. 5, 3. 5, 3. And that is TBR card. Roll number 11 landed us on TBR cart. So the book that I chose off my TBR cart is Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This is the prequel to The Hate U Give and features Maverick, Star's father, and we get to see his story, and I'm very excited to learn more about him and see everything that he's had to go through. I love Angie Thomas so much, and I am very much looking forward to reading this. The final roll, roll number 12. 5, 6, which we already have. So again, we don't have 8 options, so I'm going to roll a 6-sided die to determine which space I'll be choosing from. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if I roll 6, I'll roll again. Here we go. 6. Roll again. 5. Alright, so that's a 5, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is Friend Pick. And roll number 12 landed us on Friend Pick. So I'm going to text my friend Emily, and she's going to choose a book for me to read. Alright, she just got back to me, and she says I should read Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. So, thank you, Emily. And those are all the books that I'm going to be reading for my fall TBR. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you thought of them, and I'd love to know some books that you plan on reading this fall. Let's get into my TBR for Becca's Bookopoly. So for Becca's Bookopoly, I decided I was going to challenge myself a little bit and try to read 5 books this month, and that may have been a mistake. For roll number 1, I got a 5 and a 2, which landed me on chance. So for my chance, what I did is I chose 6 books and then was gonna roll a dice to determine which book I would have to read. And so I rolled a dice and I got a 4, which landed me on The Adventure Zone. I know that this graphic novel is based on a podcast and it's all D&D related. I've been wanting to pick this up for a while now, so I am excited that I will be getting to it. For roll number 2, I got a 2 and a 4, and that landed me on New Book. And for that, I'm going to choose one of my Try a Chapter books, so either Dial A for Aunties, Accidentally Engaged, or Honey Girl. And for roll number 3, I got double 1s. That means I now have to read 6 books, and it landed me on Color in the title, so I'll be choosing The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune, and I cannot wait to read this. Doubles aren't good, but it did give me a book I want to read, so kind of evens out. But then for roll number 4, I got another double. I got double 3s, so now 7 books. Yay! So roll number 4 had us land on Cute, so I will be reading Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. This is just adorable, so cute, so fun, just perfect fall vibes, and very happy that I have this on my TBR. And then we got to roll number 5, which is another double. I rolled double 2s, so that means 8 books are on my TBR. So roll number 5 landed me on Time of Day in the title. So I will be reading the Magic Treehouse series. Pretty much all those titles have a time of day, so I think we're good there. Roll number 6 was a 3 and a 4, and that landed me on POC representation. So I will be reading Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is the 4th book in the Lunar Chronicles. It features Winter, who is our Black Snow White character. She is absolutely amazing, a little out there, but I love her so much, and I can't wait to see more of her in this book, and I'm looking forward to this so much. For roll number 7, I got a 4 and a 2, and that landed me on Most Recent Purchase. So I will be reading Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I am thrilled that I have this on my TBR. I've been meaning to get to it for a while, and I just haven't picked it up for some reason. But I can't wait to learn more about Maverick and his story. I mean, it's Angie Thomas, so I know it's gonna be good. And finally, roll number 8, I rolled a 4 and a 1, and thank goodness it landed us on Small Book. So for that, I'm going to read Ferris by Marissa Meyer. This is the novella that features Lavanna's story, who is the evil queen in the Lunar Chronicles. In this book, we see her side of the story and more of Lavanna's background, and we see how everything's been coming together, and it really just shows how evil she is. Happy that this is a short book and that I will get to read it because it is important to the story, but she's just not a good person. I do want to show you the gorgeous end pages of this book, so look at this. It's Luna and Lavanna's kingdom on the moon, and it's beautiful. And this is the final book that I will be reading for Becca's Bookopoly. And finally, let's talk about the books I'm planning to read for G's Magical Readathon. I cannot believe how much work G has put into this readathon. She is just amazing. I am ecstatic for this readathon. I don't really know what's in store, but I think that's part of the fun. So let me get into my TBR. So for the novice path, you need to read a book featuring a map. So I will be reading Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks. And as you can see, this book has an adorable little map. So it works. For the Ashton Tree, you need to read a book that's been tempting you or that you've been wanting to read for a while. And so I will be picking Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I've definitely been wanting to read this for a while, and I'm very excited that I will be finally reading it. For A Mist of Solitude, you need to read a standalone. So I will be reading one of my Try a Chapter books. For Obsidian Falls, you need to read either a mystery or a thriller. Not sure if I'm going to be able to get to this one, but hopefully I will. And my pick for this is going to be And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. For the Tower of Rumination, you need to read a 5-star prediction, so I chose The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and it's only made me want to read it more. So I'm very much looking forward to this and sincerely hoping that it is a 5-star book for me, because I'll be a little brokenhearted if it isn't. So those are all the books that I plan on reading for G's Magical Readathon. Let me know if you're participating in any of these readathons, and if you've read any of these, I'd love to know. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to shed the love. I'll see you next time. Bye!